Trying to
just go old school.
something. Yeah, just fucking going old school tonight. There's our cold open.
Run it.
Run it. What's going on? It's time for another episode of Too Hard for the Radio, transmitting from the future free state of Greater Idaho. I am the one-armed madman. And from Music City, America, we've got the great Daniel Steele in the house. What's up, dude?
What's happening, everybody?
Fucking
I'm
getting
doing all
by.
right. We had snow yesterday.
You know what? We have had fog for the past 2 days, and everything is iced up from the fog because it's freezing fog. So I've always kind of enjoyed that atmosphere, actually. Like, there's have you ever been to Big Bear before in Southern California?
Yeah, I broke my wrist there.
Okay, cool. So,
Not
like,
skiing.
you know, when you go to Big Bear, there's like, you're driving up and then you kind of come around the side of the mountain and then you just like, oh, there's everything. There's the lake. And
Yeah.
so one time I went there and there was a windstorm, like an ice windstorm. And like, there was nothing going up to Big Bear. But as soon as you made the corner around to where you could see the lake, everything iced up. It was really fucking cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I went up there 1 year with my wife and my dog on like the Thanksgiving break. And we just got a 4-wheel drive truck. And I'm like, oh, let's go up to some snow. So we go up. It's cool. It was a little busier than I thought. I didn't know what I was expecting.
Yeah,
but
it gets
was
busy
fun.
there.
And my wife found these hot springs where you had to have 4-wheel drive to get to them. I'm like, oh, let's go out there. Go out there. We didn't bring swimsuits because I'm like, who the fuck's going to come out here? Yeah. And there's a couple in there. So we're like, oh, we walk around. And I see this other really small hot spring. And I'm like, going to walk down by it. My wife's like, no, don't. And I was wearing Toms, which is retarded to be walking around out there. And like the little slope was just mud. So I start falling and I try to bring my arm out so I can fall on my elbow because I know how to fall.
Yeah.
But my wrist just catches and you go crack, 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 crack. And my fingers swelled up like the King of England.
Yeah. No, dude,
Yeah,
I actually broke both wrists once at the same time. So
Oh,
I was
wow.
out riding. We were out on just the mountain, Northern California. I was with my dad, and we had one of my buddies with me. And one of my buddies, he just got onto a full-size bike, and he was really struggling. And his dad, my buddy's dad, didn't know how to ride really, so he couldn't really help him. And like my dad's a big guy. He's 6'2", 240 pounds, like just a big bear of a fucking guy. And he has a big monstrous motorcycle that weighs, 240 pounds, 250 pounds. And he's got these big aluminum bark busters that go around the bars on it. So he always broke trail because he was like, if anybody runs into me, they're fucked. Like, it's not going to happen. So at this point, like, my buddy's struggling with his bike. So my dad has to drop back to help him out. So I have to break trail. It's the first time he's ever let me break trail. And the last thing he said was, don't fuck around. Like, be careful. And 20 minutes later, I'm, racing in my head, out in front, leading, just doing stupid kid stuff. And then I see this.
Go in the distance.
Yeah. And then I see this big flash of green, and I'm on the side, and it's like, what the fuck just happened? And instantly my wrists both start hurting. And like the guy that I hit, he dislocated his wrist. So he like popped it back in, and then he like got my bike off of me. He's like, you okay? And I'm like, I think both my arms are broken. He's like, nah, you're good. You'd be fucked up. You'd be a lot more fucked up. And then he like lifts my sleeves up, and he's like, oh my God, your wrists are definitely broken. And so we're out in the middle of nowhere. We're like 40 miles up on a mountain outside of town. So my dad had this dual sport bike that he could ride on the road and shit. So he had to take off, go back to the truck, which was like 40 miles away in the other direction, grab a cell phone, and then ride back down into Ukiah to call. And they ended up doing the helicopters. They brought out 2 helicopters for me. They brought one out because they were like, well, we don't know how far we're going to have to pack him. So we're going to bring another crew out to like have extra people to pack out. And like, we tried moving me. We had a 4-wheeler. It just wasn't going to happen. So we stayed out there for like 8.5 hours before the helicopters finally got out there. Jesus. And dude, like, so my buddy was there with me, and I was just getting eaten alive by ants, like red ants. We're just, yeah. So even when I moved, they would just like, so my buddy's like picking ants off of me the whole time with fucking chopsticks because he doesn't want to get bit. And then I go to the hospital. We go through like the surgery and all that. And then the next day I wake up and my fucking back is just covered in poison oak. Just completely covered, like blisters and boils. Just the worst fucking thing you could imagine. And I was in traction for 14 days with that shit. It was the first time I was like taking opioids, like at a lot of opioids. So
Yeah.
I was at my house for a week, I think. No, it was 2 weeks I was there. And I don't remember taking a shit like the entire time. So the first time I go to the doctor to like get the cast cut off or something like that, we go to Jack in the Box afterwards. And we had to stop at a gas station, and it was not fun.
So I was like, it might just be sprained, even though I heard the snap, because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say like I'm a tough guy, but like I'm pretty tough when it comes to shit. Maybe a little too much for my own good. And it was just like getting a little bit better every day. And God, I went to a music festival in May, and it still hurt. And we get up there. It was in it was it was in Northern California anyway.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the town. We get there. I start drinking. We walk out to the stage, and I bought one of those like hammock folding chairs.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to sit down in it, and I was drunk, and I just completely miss. And I land on my hands again. And the thing's been much better ever since.
Nice. Excellent.
So I think I like fixed it kind of. But my wife was making me edibles because I'm not trying to eat a bunch of opiates. I'm not trying to see a doctor and all that shit. And she was making them in coconut oil, or the shit that comes in the big from Costco. And I like had to go to a meeting, but I'm just like chewing these edibles all day long. I go to the meeting, we go to lunch. Usually after I eat, I have to shit. And we get back in, and like we have to talk for another half hour after lunch. And the dude that we were meeting with left. And this is in a WeWork in Vegas. And my buddy's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I have to shit now." So I like run to the bathroom, and they're cleaning it. So I have to run all the way to the other end of the WeWork, and most of it made it in the toilet.
Nice. I shit my pants this morning.
Coconut oil is a diuretic.
Yeah.
Like 10 of them that day.
Yeah.
Just like you'd put them in an ice cube tray. And I'd say like 10 of those because I'm like, oh, it doesn't hurt as bad.
So I woke up this morning. I think I've told you before, like I take enough opioids where my stomach doesn't work. Like I take enough like laxatives to where like my guts turn to mush every day. So like I have mush that I can't fucking get out. And I actually have to like push on my stomach to like shit. And I thought I was good last night. I thought I'd made it. I thought I cleared myself out. And this morning I woke up to take a piss, and as soon as I started pissing, whoop, down the leg and into the shower we go. It's just, it's horrible. It really like I've said this before, not on the podcast, but I should really set up my toilet with a lapel mic because it literally sounds like Dumb and Dumber every day.
When we first started. Like we had bought the powder to test it to see if it was something that we wanted to sell. And disclaimer, we're not insured to snort the powder. You should definitely put it on your tongue. Definitely don't snort it.
Absolutely. GetHappy.com, everybody.
HVPPY.
HVPPY.
Use the code TOOHARD for 20% off. That was not the point of this. Or it's in the show notes.
Yes,
anyway. So we're like snorting it. It's a good time. We're at a music festival. And we're in the RV, and I was like being funny, and I like lean over and just like bend to rip a fat fart in front of my buddy and my wife, just like, and then it just went in my pants.
Oh man, I shit my pants one time when I was doing drugs. Like, we very rarely had women around, like when we were doing drugs, just because we were bad.
That's the lie of doing drugs.
Like, like you don't get laid while you're doing drugs. It's just, and you don't really have a sex drive anyways. So it's kind of, not really on your mind. Your drugs is on your mind. So like these girls were over, we're playing pool in the barn that I lived in at the time. It was not a nice barn. And I'm like holding it in, and finally I like go to let it out slow and just like, maybe I can get a squeaker. And then all of a sudden just, and my buddy was just like, "Are you fucking serious, man? Like, you couldn't go outside or something?" And I was just like, I don't know what to tell you. It's shit happens, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna
Oh,
say we
sorry,
could
go
talk
ahead.
about shitting all day, or we could get into some of the news. It's up to you.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about shit. So I decided to start this week one meal a day and bone broth the rest of the day.
Mhm.
I didn't even consider the fact that it would put me into ketosis in between. So I've had keto flu all day. Speaking of shitting.
Nice.
Anyway,
And
on with the news.
with that, let's get into the news. I've got a nice video to preface what we're going to talk about here.
Is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one 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 is above
They're
the
all
law.
telling this to
No
Mueller.
one is above the law.
That's great. All right, and I got one more. Just because I can't help myself.
Second one, would the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear, and I said no.
Okay. We go back to the first question in the
She's so
briefing. I know
smart.
you said not a lot's changed since yesterday, and that it's a personal
great at her
matter.
job.
But from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Again, you've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute the sentences for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
Well, looks like everybody was wrong, and he went and pardoned his. Now, I've got a theory on this that I think you're going to like, but I want to hear what you think first.
Well, first off, your mic volume went down probably 50% since you played the video.
Really? Can you not hear me anymore?
I can hear you, but you're not as
How's that?
much better.
Okay.
There we are. All right, so I have some thoughts. I'm trying to find the tweet that I sent you the other day.
Oh boy. Boy.
So
I've got an iPad. I might be able to look faster.
it was like news from inside the White House, and it was Hunter threatened with a book.
Yeah, here it
And
is.
then the next-
If Biden pardons someone like, say, Hunter or Jack Smith, they can no longer invoke the Fifth Amendment, right to against self-incrimination to avoid testifying before Congress or grand juries. If those pardoned refuse to testify, they can face new charges for criminal contempt, and that is you can go, I think, 180 days in jail for that.
Yeah. But then there's another tweet that I sent you.
Oh boy.
Your response was, "It's always a book."
Yeah. No, I think that was this one. Oh no, you're right. I can search it. It's always a book.
Okay.
There's always a book. There is always a book. Let's see.
There we go.
I'm doing a great
Over
job.
Thanksgiving, Hunter told his father about a book. This is from Jack Poso, Prospiak, whatever. Fed. So he probably has good intel.
He does. He's always got this guy's always got videos on deck as soon as something drops. So like I don't remember what it was, but there was a big interview. I think it was one of Tucker's interviews or so. It was Tucker and Putin. That's what it was. The second that the interview dropped, there was clips from the entire interview. So you know it's getting passed around and clipped out.
Oh yeah. So his tweet, breaking over Thanksgiving, Hunter told his father about a book he was writing that would go public with everything. Days later, his father signed a blanket pardon per White House official. This seems like the type of unforced error that they continually do. Like the whole Democratic Party. Like they push Biden out, Biden crams him with Kamala, all those things. Like it's just like not thought all the way through. Because that other tweet that you had read, now Hunter can be found in contempt if he doesn't incriminate his father, if he gets called to testify. And so it just feels like this really big unforced error that they didn't have to do because Trump, during his campaign, said he was going to pardon Hunter.
Yeah.
So it seems like, And then it's like, oh, my son's being unfairly prosecuted. It's just like, the dude's a scumbag. Joe Biden has always been a scumbag. I've actually lost friends talking about this. Joe Biden wrote the law, which is the crime bill, which makes one drug worse than another drug, worse than another drug, mandatory minimums, 3 strikes. Joe Biden imprisoned millions of people for nonviolent offenses, which disproportionately affected the black community. But then when this is where I lost a friend, he's like, oh, it was during like a debate, or not a debate. There wasn't a debate during the first Trump-Biden run. But I'm like, you're trying to tell me that Trump's more racist than Biden?
Yeah.
How many people, how many laws did Trump write that put millions of people in jail that disproportionately affected black people?
The Step Act, he let them all out.
Yep. So then the guy was like, oh, you're just race baiting. You're a fucking racist. And I'm like, dude, you've known me for however long. You know I'm not that racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm not a racist.
My house got raided during COVID when I decided to grow 4 marijuana plants in my backyard. And I was looking at 5 years and $15,000 in fines for that, for 4 marijuana plants. I found out later that my neighbor was a judge. I didn't know he was a judge. They lied to me and told me that they had no problems with it and blah, blah, blah. But apparently the judge did, and he had the cops over at my house. And I don't know if he told the cops, don't actually arrest him, just take his fucking plants, or if it really did fall. So what happened was they raided my house, and then they just said, because it's COVID, we're not going to take you to jail. And then I never heard back from him again. I paid a lawyer to, do some shit. I don't know if he did anything, but they just didn't charge me with it. Well, they charged me, but so it's still hanging over my head, and there's no statute of limitations in Idaho. So they can come and do that to me whenever they want.
Oh, so now your neighbor has you.
Mm-hmm. No, he moved. Luckily, he moved.
Okay.
Yeah, he cheated on his wife. Great guy.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
He narked me out and cheated on his wife, but man,
Yep. Great
that
guy.
guy could fucking hold a conversation.
Great fucking guy. Yeah. So let me ask you this, and then I'll give you my theory. He was supposed to be sentenced tomorrow. Why didn't he commute his sentence rather than pardoning him?
Or why didn't he pardon him just for those charges? Why did he go all the way back to when Biden and Obama overthrew the Ukrainian government? Oh,
All right.
I think I said the quiet part out.
So here's my theory. What if he didn't pardon Hunter? What if this is the same thing that happened when he dropped out of the race? Somebody else did it for him. I think that this could be payback for sticking them with Kamala. Hey, you want to fuck us? We'll get you right back, buddy. They put out the letter.
Well, he went on TV and said it.
Yeah, well, I didn't see that part. Yeah. I didn't see that part. But also, if that was the case, his hand is forced and he has to do that. So
and also,
I think there's a decent chance because he could have commuted his sentence. Huh?
That's really interesting.
It is, right? Because this would fuck him.
Going all the way back to 14 is super fucking fishy.
It is. But
Blanket
I don't know that they're like I hear your unforced error argument, but I think that they're smarter than that. No. And I really think that there's a lot of fuckery going on around behind the scenes here. I don't know.
No, Hunter was scared that he was going to prison.
For sure.
And he told his dad he was going to blow the lid off of it if he didn't. And his dad was like, all right, fuck it. I'll do this thing. And he didn't listen to his lawyers. And now they just left themselves open for this big thing. And when we were texting, you said, like the one special counsel said that he was an old man and too senile to stand trial. Matt Gaetz is not going to take that line.
Yeah, but Matt Gaetz is not going to get anywhere near a position where he's going to be allowed to fuck with them.
Oh, yes, he is.
You think?
Yeah. So there's absolutely no congressional approval or Senate approval for special counsel.
Oh, you think they're going to appoint him as a special counsel? Yeah. See, I don't. I don't think there's I don't think there's much political will to get to the bottom of this because like someone like Matt Gaetz absolutely wants to get to the bottom of this, but there is a big portion of Congress and the Senate whose kids are doing the exact fucking same thing that Hunter is. And they don't want this scam outed.
This is, I mean, if they're actually going to drain the swamp, Like, this is a big part of it. Like,
Sure.
what did the president of Poland say? I never found that tweet again and sent it to you. But he said half of the money going to the Ukraine was getting funneled back to our politicians. And I think said McConnell got like 86 million, and he listed off people and how much they got. So, I mean, this could be, you would hope, this could just expose all of that.
Yeah. See, the thing that really bothers me about it is he could have commuted the sentence and that would have gotten rid of the whole plead the fifth thing. It would not have been an issue at all. I looked into this, ChatGPT is a decent lawyer. I checked some other sources too, but that would have completely done it. And it's just so hard for me to believe that he doesn't have a couple of good lawyers around him that are like internet lawyers. People like you noticed this right away. So I don't know.
I didn't pass the bar, but I know a little bit.
No, exactly. And like, I just have a hard time believing that he would put himself in this position or that the people around him would allow himself to put him in that position.
You're dealing with an irrational crackhead.
Yeah.
You're dealing with a person that knows, he knows what was on his laptop. He knows it wasn't Russian interference, which we all know now. He knows that if Matt Gaetz or somebody with teeth goes after it, they're going to go after all of those crimes. He's like, all right, blanket pardon or expose it all. Well, all right, son, I'll give you the blanket pardon. And the guy doesn't fucking pay attention to his lawyers because he's fucking a billion years old.
Interesting. There's a lot of weird shit going on. They're moving money around.
Maybe it's like how Rogan really hopes there's aliens.
Yeah.
or really hopes that there's Bigfoot or whatever he says.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really hope that this is the case, and it just like the lid gets blown off.
Yeah. They're moving a lot of money around right now. I think it was like 11 billion to Africa for, you know what? I think I have a video actually. Let me see if I loaded this up onto ours. Let's see. Yep, here it is. Here we go.
That's the right thing for the wealthiest nation in the world to do. And today, I'm announcing over $1 billion in new humanitarian support for Africans displaced from homes by historic droughts and food insecurity.
What about North Carolina?
We know African leaders and citizens are seeking more than just aid. You seek investment. So the United States is expanding our relationship all across Africa, from assistance to aid, investment to trade, moving from patrons to partners to help bridge the infrastructure gap. I was told, by the way, when I got elected, I could never get an infrastructure bill passed.
Yeah, how'd they do on that infrastructure bill, right? It looks like they built a whole lot of infrastructure. Uh-oh, you're muted. I don't hear you. We're having all kinds of sound problems tonight. I think Zoom is... Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hit a button trying to mute when I was coughing.
Oh, no worries, man. No, it's off again.
Okay, sweet. Yeah,
that's a cough button.
I don't have to click.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Awesome.
Hell yeah! I've got one on my Rodecaster here. So if if you ever see me doing that, it's because the dog's making noise. But it's wild. Like, so another billion going to Africa for I guess they're going to build new huts that get blown over. Well, it's wild. Like we have people who are fucking suffering in this country from that exact same thing and are getting very little to nothing. And I don't believe for a second that $1 billion is going to rebuild one house that got blown over. It's going to buy yachts, cocaine, and cars.
Yeah, definitely no huts. I was actually...
Let's just send them a bunch of pallets. That'd probably be better.
Yeah. Well, so a few years ago, China made a deal basically putting a superhighway, maybe superhighway is not the right word, but like a path from Africa to China. And so it's like roads, ports, infrastructure. They're loaning money to the governments to build those. And China's like working this super long game. Like there's this, it's a byproduct of washing gold. I forget what it's called, but it's required for phone screens to make them not break. China has millions of tons of it. America has none. China is actually colonizing Africa right now.
Yeah, and they're using soft power to do it.
Yeah.
They're not.
And,
They're not like.
so
They're not using the
loaning money to these
gunpoint like
governments.
we are. You know, like they're being
Yeah.
smart about it.
Yeah, they're taking a Federal
Briefcases
Reserve
full of
rate.
money. You know.
Yeah, we're gonna loan you money, and when you default, you belong to us.
Yeah.
And then China, Xi announced a halt on all exports to the United States for the things that we need to make technology. So over the past however many years, China's been pulling all of those resources out of Africa, bringing them to China, and now they can't ship those resources here for us to make our own technology. They have us by the balls.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've said this for a long time. Like one of the things I got the most shit for when I was on Tinfoil Hat the first time was like, at that point, Sam was still a very big China hawk. And he was kind of coming down on China and you know, just doing the whole Uyghur like just kind of doing that establishment line on it. And this was years ago. So like he's totally flipped on. But my point is like we are in a codependent relationship with China. If they die, we die, and vice versa. You don't, as a drug dealer, I was a drug dealer, like you've bought drugs before. Your drug dealer does not kill your best customer.
Yeah.
That is shooting yourself in the foot. And I just like, I don't think we should be hawkish with China. I think we should be doing deals with them.
I don't think we should be hawkish with anybody.
No.
Maybe Canada.
Yeah. I've got some Canada clips.
Okay, here we go, boys.
Yeah. This one's great. Let's
I
check
didn't
in
even have
on...
show notes or a script here.
Oh, I know. I should send you the videos like I do to my buddy beforehand. I like getting your reaction like in real time also though. So it's a give and take on it, right? I need to try. I was thinking about trying this tonight, but I ran out of time. I might be able to screen share my iPad onto my Mac and then show my screen over Zoom. And so we might try that next week.
Okay.
We'll see. But here's a video. Let's this is Justin Trudeau showing up to, I think it's a steel mill or something like that.
Over here if you want to thank you for your hard work.
I can bring some for my kids here.
Okay.
Oh, we didn't hear the beginning
25
very good. The beginning, he says, we've got donuts here.
We got donuts over here if you want to thank you for your hard work.
I can bring some for my kids here.
Okay. The 25% tariffs we just brought in on Chinese steel is going to help you out.
That's going to keep my job, yeah.
That's going to
Yeah.
keep your job.
What about the
$400
40% taxes I'm paying and I don't have a doctor?
The $400 million that we invested in the car means you're going to have a job for
I think you're only here for
years to
another
come.
year. We won't see you around probably another year.
Well, that's what elections are for.
That's right.
And I look
They're so
forward to
polite.
everyone
It's
exercising
hilarious.
the right to vote.
Yep.
And the basic choice. We're going to invest in you and your job.
I don't believe you for a second.
I don't believe you for
Dental
a
care?
second.
Do you know anyone who got dental care?
Yeah, I pay for it myself.
Okay.
We're like 3 years
Because
behind.
you have a job and coverage.
Yeah,
but we
four
got
people in my
seniors.
family.
We've got
Every time we
seniors.
go for a dental visit, it's costing me about $50 in my pocket per person.
Okay.
Why? I have a good job. You're not really doing anything for us, Justin.
I want socialism.
We just invested so 500,000 people who hadn't been to the dentist got to go to the dentist over the past few months.
Probably like my neighbor that doesn't go to work because she's lazy. She
you know
just
what?
doesn't go to work. She lives the same
Most
life I do.
Canadians try to stick up for each other. And that's what we're going to keep doing.
Yeah.
What
Good
a
luck
piece
and
of
take care
shit.
your family, sir.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right.
Have a nice day.
Have a good day, sir.
What a piece of shit. Yeah, my neighbor.
Wait, the other
who's-
guys got the donuts?
They got the
Excellent.
donuts. God, these people are so fucking out of touch. Hey, I'm going to go to the steel mill and then I'm going to bring donuts and they're going to love me for it. What are you thinking? The same shit happened to Biden during the 2020 election. You remember he went to the steel mill?
He almost got a fist fight with
Yes.
an auto worker.
And he was telling them they're full of shit and all this stuff. And these steel mills just weren't fucking having any of it. And this is so good to me. Like, these people should be uncomfortable when they're out in public. Like, if you're going to
fact
treat
that
your
Biden was
citizens
willing to
that
fist
way,
fight-
you should be fucking scared. You should be uncomfortable. You should be walking, the walk of shame.
The only time I think I've ever respected Biden when he was willing to fist fight.
Yeah.
Like if you're willing to fist fight, like
Yeah.
okay, you got a little something. Down
Yeah.
there.
You got some fire in
Not
you.
that it's, not that I'm saying violent. Like I'll probably never get in a fist fight again. I hope.
Yeah, me too.
But,
I think it'll happen at some point, but I hope not.
Yeah, it'd be pretty unfair.
I think I could whoop some ass still.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty good wrestler. I'll get you on
put
the
my
ground and
fat
start
ass on
fucking
somebody's
feeding you
back.
elbows.
If I got your back, like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
going to sleep on me.
No, like my buddy gets in fights a lot, and we went to a concert a couple months ago, and I was like, just to let you know, if you get in a fight tonight, I am not jumping in. It's not going to happen. I'm not doing it. You do this too often, and it's just, no, not going to happen. I don't care who started it or who deserved it. I'm not jumping in. It's just not going to happen.
The culture on fighting's changed so much. When I was a kid, I played hockey, and my grandfather would call me a pussy because I wore a helmet.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, what are you doing, little girl? They're making you wear a helmet." 2, there was one game a year, just like imagine 5, 6, 7-year-olds playing hockey, and all your idols are fighting in the games. There's one game a year with the parents, and they'd let you fight. And like that was your reward for having a good year, is you could go and fist fight the other kids on your team.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, my little brother plays hockey. He's a really good hockey player, like very gifted at hockey. They're not even allowed to check. He's 12.
Yeah.
Not allowed to check.
12?
Like, how are you allowed to learn the
I
game?
think I started checking around 12.
It's like
right.
You have to like learn the game at some point, right? Like if you learn to play without checking and then you go and play a team in Montana, which they've done that have been checking for years, you're a fish out of water. You know, it's everything is different.
Oh, like the 2 years before we were allowed to check, they would teach us checking anyway. And it was almost like gang initiation. They would line all the kids up against the boards, and you'd have to skate down the row, and everybody would hit you.
We used to we called it sideline drill in football, and we started doing this shit when we were like fucking 6 or 7, you know? And basically, they give you the ball, you run down the sideline, and somebody else takes an angle and hits you in the side of the head as hard as they possibly can.
CTESPN.
Right? I quit playing football when I was a sophomore because, like, might have even been a freshman. I don't know. I think I played my freshman year, and I think I quit sophomore year. But, like, I got hurt in practice as a sophomore, and, like, they had us practicing with the varsity guys. And there's a big difference between, like, an underdeveloped 16-year-old and an overdeveloped 18-year-old or 17. Like it's boys versus men, and you're just getting fucking destroyed. And finally I was like, I'm a good dirt bike rider. I'm not a great football player. And like, I don't like getting ear-holed by these fucking guys. You know, one guy that we had, he was a violent sociopath. Like he's in prison now for the rest of his life. He was a violent sociopath. And he ended up getting like kicked off the football team for being too violent. Because he would just he would hit you after the whistle. You know, I remember the worst concussion I ever got. We were practicing going on 2, snapping on 2. And so you had to sit through the first one. And the fucking coach was his first year. We had a good coach that got kicked off or like got fired for grabbing that violent sociopath by the helmet and dragging him off the field. So he got fired. The sociopath gets to stay on the team. So the new coach is like, well, you guys jumped off sides twice last week. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 20 people on defense and 11 on offense, and they're going to smash you in the head on 1 every time. So I'm, you know, being a lineman, I'm like 120 pounds, maybe, you know, and this fucking violent sociopath just coming down the middle, head down, and you're just sitting there and just bam, head to head. And I was concussed so fucking bad. I had to go to the hospital. I was puking all night. I was fucked up for like 2 weeks after that. Just disgusting that you put children through something like that. It's wild. Like one of my buddies his kid's a decent football player, and they put him in at quarterback. And he after a couple of games, he's like, I don't really like this. You know, like everybody's after me all the fucking time. You know, and I'm like, get him out of there and get him on the fucking dirt bike because they just bought dirt bikes. And it's like, to me, football is the worst of all the sports because you'll never play it again after you get out of high school. And you're always that guy who's going to be watching football every Sunday talking about the good old days. And everybody hates that guy.
And the pads make it worse.
Yeah, they do. There was way less injuries when they had leather helmets.
So I was incredibly talented at hockey. And I was really big as a kid for my size, or for my age. I was very big. I mean, my family, everybody in my family played hockey. My father had me taking figure skating classes when I was 3 all the way through. So kids would make fun of me, but I was like a great skater.
Yeah.
And I was big, so I played defense, but I was always top 3 on the team for scoring too. And I just work harder than anybody.
Smash somebody, take the puck down and score.
Oh, yeah. Well, you weren't allowed to check, but it just like stick handling. I was, yeah. And then my mom couldn't take care of me. My dad wouldn't. And so I went to live with my rich aunt and uncle. They actually let me play. I was doing really well, and I was talking to colleges in 6th grade.
Wow.
About, like that's the level that I was playing at.
Yeah, that's about where he's at too. Like he's He's very good.
My rich aunt and uncle lived near the ski hill, and we had a snow day, but it was an ice day actually.
Oh, nice.
And you've skied before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the first step in skiing, learning how to stop the little pizza thing, but it was ice.
Oh, nice.
So I ended up getting stretchered off of the hill, like, because my knee went. And then the doctors were like, all right, he's young enough to where we think it'll heal if you just let it sit, but he's not going to be able to play hockey for a couple years.
Yeah.
Or we could do surgery and he'll have surgery for the rest of his life. And I'm like, cut that bitch open. And my family wouldn't let me. And it always kind of bothered me, but really, most hockey players turn into heroin addicts.
Yeah.
If you go through. So I'm pretty lucky that I dodged that bullet.
Yeah. You've actually made an alternative to the heroin.
Yeah.
In the comments, or not in the comments, in the description, go buy it. Get high, have fun, stay safe. Yeah, man. I started skiing when I was like 4. I was a good skier, and then like I was a an advanced skier, and then I got into the snowboard, and I really love the snowboard. I started wearing knee braces when I ski and snowboard because I had knee braces for motocross, and I kind of twisted my knee one time. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna try out the knee braces, and they're uncomfortable, but there's something really nice about being able to just lock your fucking legs out straight and plow down a hill and know that nothing's gonna happen. And it's more of like
a lot of rigidity.
Yeah, it allows you to do more and to like push yourself a little harder because you have that confidence that you're not going to fuck yourself up, which I really like that. The problem for me now is like I've been snowboarding a couple of times since I've lost the old fucking jerk off machine, and it's fucking brutal.
You're a left-handed jerker?
No, but I could have been. Anyways,
there's your show title.
Yeah, right. Left-handed jerker. I could have been. Anyways, I have to wear the hook because otherwise I'm just way too off of balance. Like the hook has to be there. And then like I put a glove over it, but the hook is made out of carbon fiber and rubber essentially. So it just turns into a big icicle and I get really fucking cold. So I got to figure out a better system for that. But you know, I've got another fun.
We start talking about Canada, and then we're
I know. I've got another Canada clip actually. If you want to hear, did you hear the Peter Ducey report?
No.
Okay, let's go.
Yes.
You did.
I sent it to you.
Should I play it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And tonight we're getting some new details about that Trump-Trudeau dinner from 2 people who were at the table. We are told that when Trudeau told President-elect Trump that new tariffs would kill the Canadian economy, Trump joked to him that if Canada can't survive without ripping off the U.S. to the tune of $100 billion a year, then maybe Canada should become the 51st state and Trudeau
we don't want you.
Its governor.
Right? We don't want you.
More on that detail with the panel. Peter, thank you.
I had a guy on who was...
territory. They can't vote. Like, they voted for all the worst shit.
Yeah.
I was there for my 40th birthday, which was like 6 years ago. And if you go to because all their beer and shit's run by the state, it was $2 a can for beers at the liquor store.
Oh, wow.
We're not even there now after fucking COVID inflation and Biden and all.
Yeah. It'll cost you $5 to buy a soda, though. I remember soda machines used to be like 50 cents for the can, and now it's like $5 for the bottle. Fucking crazy people. I remember
then they're
those.
throwing microplastics in your ball.
Yeah. Tucker had some fun with Justin Trudeau too. Here he is.
Oh, I did not hear this.
Thank you for your call. You have reached the media line. For all urgent requests, please send your request by email. Merci pour votre appel. Vous avez atteint la ligne médiatique. Merci beaucoup.
Yes, hi. I couldn't understand the French part, but it's Tucker Carlson calling from the United States. And I'd be grateful if you pass a message on to the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. We are coming to liberate Canada. We are coming to liberate Canada. And we'll be there soon. Merci.
Dude, Tucker's so badass. That was hilarious. Oh, my God. I love it.
I never... Just because I had only seen his face in the corporate press. Not like I didn't pay attention to this shit for quite a while.
Yeah.
Up until COVID, I guess. I just imagined that he was a corporate press guy. And then when he got like the January 6th tapes but didn't release them, I'm like, oh yeah, he's part of the thing. But I've really come to admire him. And I just really like, even if I don't agree with what he's saying, I like the way that he talks.
Yeah.
And the way he thinks about things.
Yeah, I agree with most of what he says. I started watching him during COVID. just because like his show got so big that I wanted to know what right-wing America was seeing every night. So I liked watching it, you know, a couple of times a week because it was great to like see what this big group of people are actually seeing and enjoying. And like there was most of the time, like I fully agreed with him. It's like, yeah, nailed it. But a couple times, man, it's just like, I remember this time where he had this liberal woman on because he loved having liberals on to say my body, my choice, except the vaccine, you know? And he's right. Like it's a ridiculous fucking double standard. So he had this woman on and he's like, all right, great. My body, my choice, you know, vaccine, the whole thing. And then to the next guest, hey, you're here to tell us why marijuana is awful and why it should still be illegal. And it's like, have some fucking standards, man. Like you just did the my body, my choice thing. And then you go and do the exact same thing that you're shitting on them for. And like, I don't know if you know, somebody's sitting in the room and goes, hey, wait a minute, that's kind of a double standard. And you're ripping on them for having a double standard. Maybe you should rethink this. He might go, huh, that's a good point. Or he might have some well thought out answer for why it's stupid. But it's tough sometimes when I see these conservatives that don't have set of standards that they apply to everything.
I was thinking about this, and let's like take a step back and look at it from somebody who's never done drugs point of view, and look at every market that opened legal cannabis, and where are they today? Well, let's see. It started in Los Angeles and Denver, and it moved its way up to Oregon and Washington. They followed suit. And they're all fucking shitholes. Not that correlation is causation, but you know, maybe there should be consequence to doing drugs. Maybe it should be tough to do. Maybe you should risk having to buy from a drug dealer. I don't. I live in Tennessee. We don't do normal cannabis here.
And you are absolutely not a drug dealer.
And I'm absolutely not a drug dealer. We sell a supplement. But maybe there should be consequence to it. Maybe it's just too fucking easy.
Maybe social consequences, but not necessarily like physical consequences where we're going to throw you in a fucking cage for years on end, you know?
I mean, maybe people wouldn't be fucking high all the time. And like when these cities fall to shit and like, oh, marijuana is legal, let's just make an open air drug market. I don't know. This is just like I don't have a nuanced thought or complete thought on this. But I was thinking like, bro, all those places kind of suck.
Yeah, no, but they sucked before also. It's not like LA just all of a sudden started sucking.
I remember LA being a pleasant place to be.
You think marijuana took it down?
Huh?
You think marijuana took it down?
I don't know. It got worse since rec.
I would say they're fucking DAs and all the people who are refusing to, you know, prosecute crime would have far more to do with the degradation of a city than just people smoking marijuana. I don't think those people I don't think those people would be productive if it was legal or not. Like, take it away from them, they're still not going to produce anything.
I don't know when there was medical marijuana, so everybody could like get their little sneak in, and you could Skype with the doctor and shit. West Hollywood was one of the best places to be in the world. Loved it.
I've got a good medical marijuana story. So I got arrested one time, and well, I've been arrested a few times, but this one time I got a PO. Yeah, and at the time, marijuana had just gone medical. So he's like, you know, you've got this much in your system today. I'm going to test you again in a week, and if you don't have less in your system, you're going back to jail. And I kept smoking, and I was like, all right, I'll just get my fucking card, you know, and somehow I lost my ID, and I was so fucked. It was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I called every fucking medical marijuana clinic within like 100 miles of where I lived, trying to get somebody to give me something without a physical ID. And I found a place in Lake County, which is the meth capital of the United States. And they let me get my medical marijuana card with my Costco card.
Nice.
Did not go back to jail for that. I did go back to jail, but it was for something else.
When Nevada got medical, they were like turning people away from casinos if your name was in the database because they were afraid of getting sued or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I found this doctor who you could do a Skype call with. I'm aging myself, but it was Skype.
Yeah.
Then you get on with him, and he's like, "Oh, what's your condition?" I'm anxious. He's like, "All right, show me your ID." So I just hold up my passport, and then I gave him an address, which was a real address that my buddy picked up the paper, but they emailed me the paper that day. I didn't even need a real address.
Oh, wow.
He couldn't see my ID. It was just like,
it's a scam.
No, the dude got my $150.
No, I mean it's not like you're not getting scammed. It's a scam to the system. We're gonna,
I'm not in the database in Nevada because they were also taking away like Second Amendment rights for people that had medical.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you know that for people in the VA, if you go and get assistance from the VA, you waive your Second Amendment rights?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Why?
That's a headline I read on Twitter.
Is it because of the mental aspect to it? You know,
I think so.
This is one of the things that
if you're not competent enough to do this shit yourself, to navigate our very easy healthcare system, if you're not competent to do that on your own, you're not competent to own a gun.
So I'm going to weave back to Hunter Biden a little bit, and we kind of discussed this off air, but like the problem that I have with the whole Hunter Biden situation is they went after him with a tic-tac foul. So you've played basketball before where a ref makes a bad call at some point during the game, and then they give you the call back. So maybe some guys just, heading down and they get him for a traveling or a carrying or something like that. We know that you didn't really, or they hadn't been calling that the entire game, but they owed you one. So they had to get you with something. So they get you with a little tic-tac. And to me, like, lying on a gun permit is a ridiculous crime that shouldn't exist. We shouldn't have gun permits, A, and B, you're allowed to drink and own a gun, but you're not allowed to smoke weed or smoke crack and own a gun. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. So my problem with, if they don't go after him, actually go after him, then all they're really doing is making a mockery of the system, which is fine. I like to see that too. But, go after him or don't. Don't get him with this stupid little tic-tac foul that shouldn't exist. And now the problem is you've got people like Marjorie Taylor Greene who are defending him being arrested for lying on a gun permit. This is something that shouldn't exist. And conservatives should, if I was her, I would say, hey, look, Hunter Biden is getting busted for this stupid crime that shouldn't exist. This is bullshit. We need to be going after him for his actual crimes. But nobody's doing that. They're just wanting to go after him for this little tic-tac. If they do get Gates on the case, I'll be happy to eat my words on this.
The thing that is really fucked up is the gun charge is expanded because he had a sweetheart deal.
Yeah.
Where he was going to get basically plea for one thing and be off the hook for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Republicans went after him, and all they got was the gun charge and the tax charge. It's just it shows how fucking weak. We're going to be tough. It shows how fucking weak it is. I saw the picture of him with little children putting their feet on him. This dude is just terrible.
Yeah, he's a disgusting, pig in human clothing. Just a disgusting, horrible person. And, go after him. Don't just do this fucking slap on the wrist, oh, we got you type of thing. Actually fucking go after him.
Yeah, what
Show some teeth. Happened? Show a backbone. Be a fucking man.
His business partner testified to Congress. What happened to that?
Nothing. It just got floated off. It was people bitched about it on Twitter for a couple of days, but essentially nothing happened. And I don't expect anything to happen to him. I hope to God that Gates goes after him and just shows hey, you guys can't get away with everything you want. This stuff is all we can show the public now. You could get away with this shit 50 years ago because if a report did come out, it might be, in some obscure newspaper on the back page, and then you'll never find it again. And somebody, oh, you remember what happened with, oh, I don't know. How can we find it? You can't. It was just gone into the ether. Now, everything exists and we can fucking put it back up. It's amazing how fast all of those corporate news clips showed up of nobody's above the law. No, he's not going to get pardoned. Immediately, as soon as the pardon came out, all of that shit was on Twitter for everybody to see. And they fucking hate that.
Yeah. I was listening to Dave's. Who's the British guy we've talked about? I think he's gay. You didn't know he was gay. He might have been on Rogan. Really, like he does a lot of high level interviews. Dave Smith was on there recently.
Constantine? Oh, well.
I'll find it while I'm talking. So Dave Smith was on there, and he's like, where they super fucked up was by calling Joe Rogan the things that they called him.
Yeah.
Because these people, including myself, not these people, thousands, or if not tens of thousands. Chris Williamson is the guy's name.
Oh, yeah. He's very good.
Yeah, he's
Modern
very good.
wisdom.
But
he's had some really good interviews with Eric Weinstein.
Okay.
Like really, really good, in-depth, like
yeah,
just amazing. For anybody who wants to like just get your mind. Eric Weinstein is so fucking smart and so goddamn interesting.
Maybe I let his name stop me from taking him seriously.
Anyways.
That wasn't anti-Semitic. That was a Jeffrey Epstein joke.
Yeah, yeah. Which that list should not come out according to these liberals now, because most people.
But Dave's point was, where they fucked up is, so they play these clips and they say this is the tip of the iceberg. Joe Rogan's a racist and it's way worse below, but like 25 billion people listen to an episode and they've listened to tens of thousands of hours and they're like, oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I know that. And then they start questioning all of the things, and that's how it unravels.
Yeah.
And it is just like an unforced error. You didn't have to go after Joe Rogan.
Mm-mm. It was shooting yourself in the foot. Like you had him for years.
There's a number of other people that they went after that they didn't have to go after.
They'll still
Rogan
be able to
was
get him. Like Rogan sounds great when Dave is on. But then when he has somebody on who doesn't really know much, he kind of drifts back into that liberal land. Like I heard him talking to somebody the other day who didn't know anything. Maybe it was like Protect Our Parks or something like that. And he was like, well, just think about how fucked up everything would be if unions didn't exist. And you're just like, what? Where the fuck did that come from? Like unions are destroying the planet. What are you talking about? And I'm sure if he said that while Dave was on, Dave would like totally explain to him why unions suck and how it's commie bullshit and blah, 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 blah. And he'd probably go, oh yeah, you're right about that. But he's still susceptible to this liberal bullshit. They can get him back if they're smart.
He's not a political dude. Well,
no.
He wasn't until he swayed the election.
Yeah. Now he has to be.
They gave a shout out to my buddy Tate Fletcher on there. Tate Fletcher is the one that noticed that Joe Rogan had staph infection on the Protect Our Parks last time.
Oh, really?
We talked about staph infection.
Nice.
Yeah, Tate, I met him as a teenager in Detroit, and we all just left Detroit at the same time. Tate and my buddy Ike went down to Brazil and learned jiu-jitsu because Ike got started fighting. His mom married a black dude when it was very, very unpopular to do that. Yeah. So they would just go fight neo-Nazis.
Nice.
And that's how he learned how to fight. And Tate started off doing stick fighting, like the actual where you beat the fuck out of people with sticks, consensually. And they went down to Brazil. Tate was on Ultimate Fighter Season 1. And then in his first fight after that, he got knocked out. He's like, I don't like that. And Tate was training at Eddie Bravo's place. And this was when UFC was starting to get popular. And Joe Rogan's like my height, I guess.
I think he's like 5'8", 5'9".
No, he's like 6 foot.
Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
No. He's really short. I'll look it up while you're talking.
Okay. And but Joe Rogan's a fucking killer. Like you don't want to fight that guy. But it's like not a good look to have your announcers beating people up if you're the UFC. So
it's 5'7".
5'7"?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's very short.
Not my height.
No.
I'm 6 foot.
He's very short. I'm like 6'3". I'd tower over him.
So he hired Tate through Eddie Bravo just to like be like, hey, don't try fucking with the guy that can kill you.
Hell yeah.
And then now Tate, he's the main like suit dude in The Mandalorian, Az or whatever. And then he also just got on The Boys Amazon show. They did a spinoff.
I like that show.
Oh, I was doing so much nitrous at the time that I just like couldn't follow it.
The last season wasn't great, but the first season was really good. They kind of went too far into the like Trump thing, in the last season. But I tried it. I don't ever watch TV, so like it's been a long time since I've watched this shit. But like, whatever. I just at this point, like, if it's a show that I enjoy, I try not to like harp on shit like that. I try to just let it go and fucking just watch the thing. I do have another actually theory that this is kind of a great fucking transition to. So I was watching Kill Tony the other night, and I started thinking about what's going on in corporate boardrooms this week. Everything has changed. Like, Trump won the popular vote. Everybody's going to be, the whole liberal establishment is going to have to retool itself. I think, like, if you're in a Netflix or like Amazon Prime room right now, you're open to a lot of shit. Like, hey, we could do something. And here's my thought. One of the big Kill Tony, I think it was one of the big ones, like where he does the arenas or something like that. I don't know if you remember this, but he said that all the head honchos from Netflix were there. I think Kill Tony could go to Netflix.
Yeah, I could see that. But
I think they're saying we need to get into podcasting.
So Netflix next move is live events in general. So
Kill
they
Tony.
did the Tom Brady roast live. Chappelle Chris Rock live. They did the shit show Tyson fight.
Yeah, Joe Rogan was live.
And then WWF is after the first of the year live. So like that's the thing. Live is like what pushes the culture. Anything pre-recorded, obviously, like talking heads on political news don't push culture anymore. Anything pre-recorded, it's like I'll watch it when I watch it, and people talk about it, and like I'll know most about what happens in a show without even watching it, and then they're all just like dumb and gay, or whatever.
Yeah,
they're dumb and gay.
The only reason that Kill Tony is not live is because they're on YouTube.
Yeah,
they could be live anywhere else. Like, you just
they
couldn't do it on YouTube.
Live comedy show in the world.
Yeah,
Kill Tony. Yeah, and like of the people through that whole, or of the companies that kind of push back on the woke employees, one was Spotify. It's like, we're keeping Rogan. Netflix brought Chappelle on, gave Chappelle a special. They gave a ton of people specials. They gave Shane Gillis a show.
Yeah, and Mark Normand. Mark Normand and Shane Gillis.
Isn't canceled.
No, but he's hilarious, and like his first special was on YouTube because he couldn't sell it to anybody, and it was because he's been on Rogan and he's been around. Like, he doesn't do anything crazy, he doesn't say anything political. He's just guilty by association. But now they gave him, and dude, his hour on YouTube, Out to Lunch, is fucking hilarious.
I might have to watch that again.
It's really funny, and so is Shane Gillis's last special that he did, where he did the Trump impressions. Just fucking hilarious. And like, you have to get those guys. You can't let that go onto YouTube for free.
Well, the thing is, you'll sell more tickets, make more money.
Yeah,
if you put it on YouTube. But I saw Shane here, and he like pushes racial shit, which it's like kind of funny. But in Tennessee, people are like, "Yeah, fuck them."
Yeah,
and I'm like, whoa. Yeah. Like, I'm not really
slow down.
Like,
a bit.
That's a funny joke, but like, you're resonating a little too much with this, sir.
Yeah.
That one made me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. But I could see it. Like, I could see, Joe Rogan already went to Spotify. That was a huge deal. I could see Netflix going, you know what? We've been working with this guy. We've seen him live. The show is fucking insanely popular. It gets 1 to 2 million views each week. Why not put it on Netflix? It just makes sense to me. Like, I couldn't see just a normal podcast like this being on Netflix. But like, maybe Netflix does their own app where they, put out a podcast.
It's just
but
Netflix with podcasts.
Yeah, but I guarantee there's just put it on Netflix. I guarantee in these boardrooms right now, they're going, we've got opportunities here. Like, we need to be getting on this new shit. The old media is dead. Everybody knows it now. It's been killed. Gone.
See, the company that dealt with the woke mob the best, and they're a massive company, but people don't talk about them that much, is Coinbase.
Yeah.
When George St. Floyd happened, all that, the CEO said, we're apolitical. As a company, we don't make any donations. It's not acceptable to talk about politics at work. if you want to go support something and do something, and the way to help the most people is to make money accessible, because the banks are canceling people. And like, this is before like Andrew Dreesen was on Joe Rogan. Like, they just knew that banks were controlling things. He's like, if you want to help people, let's make money available to everybody. That's how you're going to do the most impact. And if you don't like that, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I don't care who you're voting for. I don't want to hear about it. And I don't use Coinbase. I don't do crypto anymore. That's why I don't use Coinbase. But
the U.S. government just transferred 20,000 Bitcoin worth $1.9 billion into Coinbase.
They're selling before Trump gets there?
That's my thought. He wants to start that reserve, take all the Bitcoin and put it in reserve. Let's just sell it so he can't.
Oh, you can buy more.
Yeah, you can buy more, but he wanted to take that 20,000 Bitcoin and put it into a reserve where you couldn't sell it. So it'd be
the play there is to fucking take the 20,000, sell it all at once, dump the market, and then take twice that money and buy it when the market's low.
Yeah, but they don't think that way. They're fucking idiots, you know.
No, they're just trying to fuck with Trump.
Yeah, they're just, you know, I was watching Dave Smith yesterday, and Robbie Bernstein made a great fucking point. What's up with this lame duck shit? Like, get the fuck out. You've been voted out. Why the hell do you still get another 2 months to fuck with everybody? You should get like 2 days and get the fuck out.
Let's just give Ukraine, let's give them clearance to...
Let's just give them nukes. Why not?
Thank fucking God Putin understands what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know, who's a Russia puppet? No. Like, we just authorized long-range missiles into Ukraine. He's obviously taking retaliatory measures, which he should.
You know what's interesting about this election is I don't remember this from, like, Joe Biden definitely didn't do this, and I wouldn't have been politically active before that to know, but like, Trump is in charge right now. It's like clear the way he's talking, the way he's fucking threatening people is so badass to me. Like, he's got actual power. Where like Joe Biden didn't have any actual power to do things or say anything. Like, nobody cares what he says or what he does. Like, he's just the establishment. Everybody knows that. But like, Trump right now is acting like a fucking boss.
Oh yeah. Hey, BRICS.
Yeah.
Trying to replace the U.S. dollar as currency?
No.
All right, 100% tariffs.
Yeah.
You don't have access to the free world anymore.
Yeah. It's so badass. Like,
yeah, I was thinking about that too. I guess we didn't really talk about that over when we were texting or whatever, but it's like, and the thing is, he got like his warm up those first 4 years where he didn't know how to drain the swamp. He had no idea how to be a president. He got 4 years to watch somebody completely shit their pants in this case and our case.
Yeah.
But he got 4 years to watch it. He's like, oh, okay, I have these ideas, and some of them are really good. I'm just gonna do it. Fuck these people. I don't have to worry about getting reelected. And who's leading in the for 28 for the Democrats? Kamala.
Oh my God, really?
Other candidates? Hillary's gonna run again.
No way.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I know Gavin Newsom thinks he's going to run, but his record is so bad and so recent. Yeah. But hers is too. So, like, I don't think she's going to be the head come 28. I think that they're going to completely retool and rework everything. I think she's done, gone.
No, I don't think that they're all of their language. So you have like Carvel and like there's smart people on the left. And they're like, we need to audit the campaign. We need to change this woke shit. But that's not going to move in 4 years.
You don't think so?
You're looking at 12 years of Republicans in the White House.
Oh yeah, I'm fully convinced we're getting 8 years of Vance.
Yeah. So we've been the counterculture our whole life. What are we going to do now?
Yeah, it's exciting times. I'm going to play this video from Trump that got me all fired up today, and then we'll get out of here.
Wouldn't you dedicate yourself to public service?
Because I think it's a very mean life. I would love and I would dedicate my life to this country, but I see it as being a mean life, and I also see it as somebody with strong views and somebody with the kind of views that are maybe a little bit unpopular, which may be right, but may be unpopular.
I am your voice. So to every parent who dreams for their child, and every child who dreams for their future. I say these words to you tonight. I am with you. I will fight for you, and I will win for you. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. God bless you, and good night.
That was fucking badass. You know what's really badass about Trump is he's been talking the same shit for fucking 20, 30 years. Like, all these old clips keep popping up of him saying the same shit. And like, find me a politician who's been saying the same shit for 40 years or 30 years. They all flip-flop. They all fucking do, you know, whatever's popular at the time. Dude has been saying the same shit since the fucking 80s.
Oh yeah, everybody's seen the clip of Hillary Clinton talking about illegals.
Yeah.
That's more mega than not more. People are saying
That, but it's not. She's just lying.
But yeah,
She's just saying what she thought was popular, what she thought people wanted to hear. You know, somebody told her, "Hey, this would play good with right-wing America." You know, they're all just fucking snakes. They're all liars. They're fake people. Joe Biden is not a real person. Like, if he was not president, he would be a sleazebag ambulance chasing lawyer. Like, that's what that guy was meant to be. Just a sleazy fucking lawyer. That's what he looks like, is a sleazy lawyer. That he had that comb over for years that just looked fucking disgusting. Like, just a sleazebag. But somehow, you know, I rented a room one time to this fucking guy who was a real piece of shit. He was mentally handicapped to an extent and just a total piece of shit. And he was going to college because he wanted to be an alderman. It's like, wait a minute. So we're going to pay for you to go to college because you're too fucking dumb to go on your own. And then you're going to go and work in government? Like, how the fuck do we allow shit like that? It's just ridiculous to me. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this guy should not be responsible for a fucking cat, let alone a city. Well,
so just while you were saying that, I was trying to look at. He's so fucking incompetent. His net worth is worth around $25 million recorded.
Which is wild. Like, Obama did hundreds of millions within a few years. So he's not even good at like being corrupt.
Yeah.
Which is wild. Like, you would think that these guys would at least get good at being corrupt, but he's not even good at that. Like, the guy is just...
Pelosi's net worth, but she's worth 24 times more than Biden.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, but also, like, Biden is simultaneously the worst and best president of my lifetime. He's the worst because he's just the fucking worst. And he's the best because he showed us that the president has no power. And they don't even need to be alive. Like, we know that the whole fucking job is fake now, which is great. You know, Trump showed us that the media is fake and they're fucking liars. And then Biden showed us that the entire system is fake and none of it's real.
And now that America's great again, maybe it'll all collapse.
And on that, we're going to call it a night. It's a pleasure, Dan. We'll do this again next week.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.